Hi everyone, it's Phil here from Ashland Leather, and I'm really excited to show you part 3 of our holiday private stock sale. And all of these items that you're about to see in the video will be available tomorrow at 5 p.m. Central Time, and you can find it on our website at ashlandleather.com, where we have a brand new private stock tab at the top of the webpage. So the private stock wallets today, we're featuring 2 brand new finishes that Horween Leather is offering on the shell Cordovan. This first one you're seeing here is Psychedelic shell Cordovan, and we're also going to feature the inverted shell Cordovan, which you see here. So first up, we have a Psychedelic shell Cordovan Tony the Ant here. I just love this violet and green version of the Psychedelic. We can get Psychedelic shells in a few different color ranges, but they're all very random. We've actually paired this Tony the Ant with some Kia green shell Cordovan in the centerpiece here, and I think this Kia pairs very nicely with the violet and green Psychedelic shell on the exterior. On the interior, we have some more Psychedelic shell Cordovan. Here's another Psychedelic shell Cordovan piece. This is an Apple watch band, but this is actually a 2-layered watch band where we've stitched 2 layers of shell Cordovan together. On the top side, we've got Psychedelic violet and green shell Cordovan again, but on the underside, we've actually got violet shell Cordovan. Up next is a Psychedelic shell Cordovan Frank the Enforcer. Check out the color range here from the violet. It's almost like it's sitting on top of some green underneath, and we've got a little bit of orangey tan in the centerpiece there. And on the back, we've got more Psychedelic violet and green shell Cordovan with this very interesting pattern on the back. Up next, another Psychedelic shell Cordovan piece. This one's a little bit more subtle. This is Psychedelic violet and green. Again, we've got it on top of some more Kia green shell Cordovan, which pairs very nicely on the back here. It's one of the more pale green shades that we've done. I don't think we've had much green shell Cordovan in general, and this one definitely a nice pale green shade. On the interior, we've got more Kia green shell Cordovan, and this is a great Psychedelic shell Cordovan piece here. Fat Herbie in the violet and green Psychedelic shell Cordovan. Again, we've paired it with the Kia green, which I think complements it very, very nicely. On the left side of the back here, more reddish magenta shades, and on the right side, it's a little darker and more green. I love seeing this huge context of all the colors and pattern on the outside of this wallet. And on the inside of this Fat Herbie, we have ultraviolet shell Cordovan, which has a little bit more red to it when you compare it to the new violet shell Cordovan. And I have 3 Bugs Moran in the Psychedelic shell Cordovan, the violet and green shell Cordovan. This first one here has this great violet swoop down the center and a little bit more tan shades on the left side here, and on the interior, more of that Psychedelic shell Cordovan. This one's a little bit more green and orange. This is Bugs Moran number 2 for the violet and green Psychedelic shell Cordovan. This one has more magenta shades on the right side here, and a little bit more golden tan and green on the left side there. And on the interior, check out this piece on the right. Love this random dye mark from that magenta color on the right, and a little bit more subtle on the left. And Bugs Moran number 3 for the violet and green Psychedelic shell Cordovan. Really great color contrast on the back here, and I really like the contrast from the magenta shades on the left here to a little bit more forest green, and then it gets a little bit violet in the corner here. And on the interior here, we've got some more great Psychedelic shell Cordovan. This one's a little bit more green on the right and a little bit more tan on the left. 3 more Psychedelic shell Cordovan wallets to show you. We've got 3 Johnny the Foxes left here. Check this out. Really interesting patterning on these particular Johnny the Foxes, and I made them all individual pages because they're all very, very unique. So this one here has more dramatic contrast from light to vibrant on the outside here when you compare it to some of the Psychedelic we looked at a minute ago. Check out the inside. This is something I don't know if we'll ever be able to get again. Psychedelic shell Cordovan on the interior of the Johnny the Fox. It's really hard for us to find the naturally thin pieces of shell Cordovan that are appropriate for the Johnny the Fox interiors. Here's Johnny the Fox number 2 in the Psychedelic violet and green shell Cordovan. A little bit less green on this one, but we do see little bits of drip marks on the outside here. On the interior, more of that incredible Psychedelic shell Cordovan. And Johnny the Fox number 3 in the Psychedelic red and green shell Cordovan. This one is definitely more green and purple. I also forgot to mention that all of the edges of these wallets are hand stained with that really cool magenta stain color. And we do that on all the tops of the card holders here. On the interior, more Psychedelic shell Cordovan for the card holders. And again, these interior pieces are very tough for us to get. I don't know if we're ever going to be able to do these again. Now let's move into some inverted shell Cordovan pieces. The first one here is a tall Tony the Ant in inverted violet shell Cordovan. And the inverted violet has this color range from a orangey tan shade, sort of a more natural shell Cordovan color, to the violet shell Cordovan color. And depending on the angle you look at it, the vibrance of this color sort of comes and goes. It's very, very interesting. Check out the inside of this guy. What I love about the tall versions of the Tony the Ant, like you see here, and the Fat Herbie, is you get this consistent look of color of leather throughout the interior because we flipped this middle piece around. So we've got inverted violet shell Cordovan all throughout the interior of this wallet. Here's another inverted piece. This is an Apple Watch band in the new inverted black shell Cordovan. The inverted black ranges again from a tan shade, more of like a dark natural shell Cordovan color, a little bits of green in it, to more of a black shade. On the wrist side of this Apple Watch band, we have black shell Cordovan to pair with the inverted black on the outside. And I have a pair of inverted blue shell Cordovan Johnny of the Foxes. This is something that is pretty new to me. I haven't seen a whole lot of inverted blue shell Cordovan. It's kind of tough for me to show, but certain angles, more of these vivid aqua blue, sort of greenish blue shades come through. You might be able to see a little bit there. And then it has this sort of color range from that aqua blue to a little bit more of a navy blue. It's really, really neat. Check out the inside though. More of this inverted shell Cordovan. This kind of looks like the Psychedelic we were seeing earlier. This is another piece that I don't know if we'll ever be able to make another wallet like this again. Here's another inverted blue shell Cordovan Johnny the Fox. That color range again, from a greenish blue to an aqua blue to a little bit more of a darker navy blue, is really, really neat. Hopefully I'm able to capture it properly on the video here. On the interior, more of that random patterning of the inverted blue shell Cordovan, and we have raw denim in the center. Okay, get ready for this. I've got some inverted blue shell Cordovan long wallets, and the long wallets are incredible for showing off large contexts of leather, and on something like the inverted blue, I think it's just perfect to see because we get to see the range from that darker blue I've been talking about to a little bit lighter blue, a little bit more aqua blue, like you can see right here, and then it sort of fades into a tan on the top. And on the interior here, we have more blue shell Cordovan, but this is the denim blue shell Cordovan, which pairs great with the inverted blue here that you can see in the center, because the unintended side of the inverted blue is the same denim shell Cordovan color. So we get that incredible consistent look of denim blue shell Cordovan throughout the interior of this wallet. And here's long wallet number 2. These are going to have individual product pages. So one is the one you just saw, and this is number 2 here, and you'll get number 2 if you order number 2. Same interesting color range from that aqua blue, a little bit tan, and a little bit darker on some areas of the shell here. Really cool look on the inverted shell. And on the interior, more denim blue shell Cordovan. I really like the denim blue shell Cordovan. This sort of aqua blue shade is very, very nice, and it has a really interesting and dramatic color shift depending on what angle you look at it. Before we get to some more of the private stock wallets, I wanted to mention we now have all of our leather care products back in stock. The first one here, this is Saphir Cordovan Cream. We use this product on every piece of shell Cordovan that we ship out. This has a really great fill to it, and it increases the luster of the shell Cordovan. So we like this one for the Cordovan leather. The Venetian cream you can also use on shell Cordovan, but this product I find to be a little bit more versatile. You can use it on more leathers because it has a little bit more of a subtle sheen to it, and it also has a little bit of cleaning properties. Really like the Venetian cream, and this is a special packaging from Horween Leather Company. And the last product here, this is one that we sell directly. This is Tanner's Blend Conditioner. This is the best conditioner and cleaner that you can find, and we've seen people have great results on antique leather furniture. So this is really great for nourishing and breathing the life back into any leather product. The way I like to use the Tanner's Blend is I'll wash my footwear or any leather good with a mild soapy water, let it dry overnight, and then I condition the leather the next day. Up next is something that we don't see every day. This is our XL Valet tray in a piece of color 8 shell Cordovan. This is an irregular Valet tray. It's got some scuffs and scratches and scars on the shell Cordovan side. You might be able to see it right in the corner here. And we're only able to sell these because Horween Leather lets us sell them as irregulars. Normally, we would not be able to get such a huge piece of shell Cordovan to cut a Valet tray out of. Again, it's an irregular, so you should expect to see some scuffs and scratches. And here's a customer favorite color. This is the cigar shell Cordovan on a Capone money clip. We have a contrasting cream stitch on this one. People really, really like this color. This is more of a true brown shade when you compare it to color 8 shell Cordovan. This doesn't have as much red and burgundy as the shell Cordovan color. Here's another Capone money clip in my favorite texture. This is the Western texture on the denim blue shell Cordovan. We have that denim blue sitting on top of some black shell Cordovan on the outside. And on the interior here, we've alternated all of that. So we've got raw denim blue on the right with Western black shell Cordovan on the left. And this one has a black money clip. Got another Apple Watch band to show show you. This is inverted blue shell Cordovan with that great color range from a tan to a greenish blue down to more of like the denim blue that we normally see. And on the wrist side of this Apple Watch band, we actually have reverse blue shell Cordovan, but this has incredible dye splatter. Another tall Tony the Ant here. This is a great piece of marbled color 8 shell Cordovan. I love these striations, very linear on this particular piece of marbled shell. That's a magical piece of marbled color 8 right there. And on the interior, more of what we were talking about earlier. I love this very consistent look of the same color, leather, and texture on the interior of all the tall Tonys and even on all the tall Herbies. But this is great. Marbled color 8 shell Cordovan on the interior of this guy. Here's a Johnny the Fox in my favorite shell Cordovan color, the Amaretto shell Cordovan. And you can see it here. The Amaretto shell has a really dramatic color shift to it. So some angles, it's a vibrant tan shade like you can see here. It's almost encroaching on the natural shell Cordovan, but just a little bit more orange. And then other angles, it definitely has a little bit more of a shift to a brownish red color. And it's beautiful. I love Amaretto shell Cordovan. And on the interior of this Johnny the Fox, we have alternating card holders. So we've got Western green shell Cordovan with Amaretto shell Cordovan. Another Apple Watch band to show you. This was intended to be Amaretto shell Cordovan, but this is actually what we're calling blood orange shell Cordovan. It's a little bit more red when you compare it to the Amaretto shell. I think this is actually a color mistake from the tannery. We've got 2 more wallets to round off this private stock drop. This is green shell Cordovan with a lizard texture, and that's a really great color combo with that lizard texture. On the interior of this one, we have black shell Cordovan with more green lizard, the green lizard in the center and green lizard on these 2 card slots. And the last wallet for this drop, this is Western reverse blue shell Cordovan. I don't think I've ever seen this before. This is actually the unintended side of the shell Cordovan of the blue color, and then they press this Western texture into that. I think it's really awesome looking. And wait till you see the interior here. We've got more Western blue shell Cordovan. This is the reverse side of the Western blue. And I should mention that the edges of this wallet are all hand stained with that blue color, and it has just a really great look. This is a great wallet to end the day with. And I'm gonna have to pick my stunner. There's a lot of stunners in the batch today. Some of these psychedelic shell Cordovan Johnny the Foxes are so special. I don't know if we'll ever be able to get those again. Those are great, but I really liked this Tony the Ant here. Something magical about this pattern of psychedelic shell Cordovan. So many great wallets in the video today. This inverted violet tall Tony is just remarkable. One of the most interesting pieces of shell that I've seen in a long time. So all these items will be available tomorrow at 5 p.m. Central Time. If you have any questions, definitely leave a comment. Thank you guys so much for supporting us over the holidays. And until next time, I hope you have a good one.